Okay, so welcome back to Debating Reality. The truth is out there. So in this particular debate, we have been spending a lot more time getting some actual facts and some anecdotes that we will implement into this debate. So that way, while our people are talking, we will cut to some of those facts. So because they can't have everything all memorized to prove their side of the theories. So what we have here is that the theory is, do we believe that the earth actually is round? Now this is something that has been going on for the past hundreds of years, where ever since infancy that we were introduced to the globe theory that the earth is round. We were introduced to the factor that we're living on a sphere that actually circles the sun. Right? Because if we go back in time, Ptolemy believed that the earth was the center of the universe. And then came Johann Kepler, who believed that all as well that the earth was the center of the universe, but it actually was flotating around the solar system. But then came Copernicus, who believed that the sun actually was the center of the universe and everything else rotated around that. So what we are now living in is a Copernican theory society that we are living in a solar system where we rotate around the sun as spheres. So again, we have the sphere theory. But there's a lot of people who have been in recent times going back to the original thought pattern that the earth is flat. Now this was actually a theory that went on for a long time, where people looked out over the horizon and they thought that if they went to the edge, they would fall over. I'm talking about ships and everything else that were like that, sail over the edge. Now, somewhere along the line, somebody said, that's stupid, that's impossible. And science would lead us to believe that when they actually sent off rockets, like Los Alamos, they actually discovered that there was another theory. So, what we're going to have here is a debate around whether the Earth is actually flat or round. So we're going to start with the round theory first. So I'm going to ask Mal to come up here and talk about why he believes, as he always has believed, that the earth is indeed round.
If the earth wasn't round, then the eclipse,
We'll see this eclipse of
the eclipse of the earth is going to the sun reflecting onto the moon, and the moon goes black. That wouldn't happen if the earth was flat. The second thing is if you're away at sea, and I was, you're in the middle of the ocean, you reach a pinnacle point where you can't see any landmass at all, you're going to look right round the ship in a complete circle, and you will not see any land, you will not see any points of reference or focus of any kind, which would indicate that you were looking at a circle around, which would indicate that the earth is round.
Okay. So the earth is round and circular. Right?
Yeah.
And this is what you always believe.
I'm not flat.
Yeah.
I'm not playing the devil's advocate.
So, simple, earth is round, or is it? So Rachel has been doing a lot of research to let us know about this flat earth theory, and I'll help turn your things over.
Okay, so I'm doing flat earth theory, which is basically a concept based on an idea that earth exists on a giant flat plane with the Arctic or the North Pole at the centre and a giant wall of ice, which is Antarctica, surrounding the entire disk and forming the circumference. So basically it's like a giant dome, and space doesn't exist. All the planets and stars at night are projections on a ceiling. That's basically the underlying theory of it. And the reasons behind to sort of back up that theory are things like in New York and Philadelphia's skyline, they can be visible from 40 to 60 miles away from the ground, So how is that possible? Because if the Earth was round, you wouldn't be able to see them. There was also an experiment in the 1800s, 1838, by a man called Samuel Rowbotham, and he put a boat on a river and let it drift out 6 miles, and he claimed that basically if the Earth was round, you wouldn't be able to see the boat 6 miles ahead, which you can actually see on the horizon of the ocean, can't you? You can see boats in the distance and stuff like that. Okay, also as well, there's a lack of discernible spin. When a plane is trying to land, if the Earth was spinning, how can the plane land? The plane land if the Earth was spinning? Because what did you say it spun? 1,000 miles?
It's a gyro. Oh,
per
1,000
hour?
miles an hour. It spins at 1,000 miles per
So
hour.
if it spins at 1,000 miles an hour, how can a plane land? How can anything land on the surface? Also the sun's heat. So if the sun is 93 million miles away, how does its heat travel through space, which is an apparent vacuum, to reach us? Can space conduct or transfer heat? How does it work? And has this theory been proven?
Well, common theory to that is that like it takes about 4 years for the light to actually travel from the sun to the earth. So it's because it's been there for millions of years. We're only getting the heat from 4 years ago. I'm just saying.
How can you prove that though?
Come on, somebody tried it.
Okay, the sun's light, so you can see the sun's rays coming in at wide angles. How could this be if they were coming from 93 million miles away?
Time, baby, time.
From that distance, it should mean that they come in parallel. Does the atmosphere disperse them? If so, how does that happen?
Wow, didn't know there were going to be questions. Debate. Go.
Okay, so there's a whole load of strangeness around the southern hemisphere flights. So why do so few direct flights fly in the southern hemisphere? Why do planes flying from places like Sydney to Joburg routinely go via places like Dubai, which is completely out of its way, and if it's a direct flight it would be like 12 hours and they'd have enough fuel to get them there. And also as well, since the 1950s, planes have been able to refuel up in the air, so why couldn't that do a direct flight straight there? Why are the plane's GPS turned off during southern hemisphere flights? What's all that about? So that means that their exact trajectories can't be tracked. That's my argument.
That's sure the flat earth, that's fantastic. My wife just came back from Dubai this morning, so I mean, I too know that there was a lot of traveling, so wow, that's interesting. You know what, I'm just gonna like drop a little bit in here before Miles' rebuttal, is that Neil deGrasse Tyson believes that the earth is flat, you know what I'm saying? He crossed the mic. I'm gonna show that clip. Well, he actually believes that it's shaped like a pear, but you know, hey. So Mal, do you have a debate to what she just said?
Yeah. First of all, the reason that airplanes do not go over the South Pole is because the magnetic flux of the Earth is such that it affects electrical equipment on board aircraft, and that's why that's limited. Two, what was it?
About the sun's heat.
I like the travel of the heat from the sun.
Well, the sun's heat is the same as any kind of heat. It radiates. It's radiation.
Yeah.
It's a
But it's been traveling for thousands of years.
electromagnetic waves travel through space and travel down, so it could be transferred to electromagnetism.
But it's... Well,
Time, baby, it's time. It's all about time. What about what she was saying about the Bedford experiment and Heidelberg University? I just helping you out there, man. You know, this
the
whole
Bedford Canal experiment where he saw the boat put the boat basically 6 miles along the river and said, if the earth is curved, how can we still see the boat? How come it hasn't slipped
How
off
come
the
you can see
ocean?
boats in distances?
How can we see things in the distance?
Well, alternatively, why can't you see them when you're at sea? You're miles out at sea. And you don't see across the horizon, then you would not see that boat. You couldn't.
6 miles away. If you're on a boat
It
at
would
sea,
be-
you can't see another boat 6 miles away.
When you go out, when it goes out further out in the distance, in a way, it kind of like drops below the horizon.
And it vanishes.
Like a curve. It drops below the horizon line because it's going down on a curve.
And that actually happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, get next time you go into the boat or the boat trip, check it out.
So you only see another boat when you get up closer to it, you can't see them really far away.
You can see it for a certain distance, but after a while you can't see it at all. Like I was saying, you can't see the land, because the land, the curvature of the earth, makes the land out of sight. It's beyond the horizon.
But can you not see the land because it's so far away? And the eyes can't see that far? And the same with the boats. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see something to the naked eye, would you, if it's really, really far away? You'd have to have like a telescope.
It's too short a distance, I think.
But what he's trying to say is that if it was flat, you would still see it. You would still see it really small because it's flat. If it's just a flat plane.
You wouldn't,
But
know it's thousands of miles away. The
yeah,
ocean
you would.
is
If you're on a flat plane, then it's still there, right? It's still out there. But if it was on a curve, right, then it would disappear, which it does.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
I would be able to see.
But
But this is where the argument comes in.
gravity.
Sit down, you mic dropper, you. So, I mean, you know, it does feel a bit hard to defend the theory of the Earth being round. But can you, in final summation, if it's flat, like why is it flat, or how is it? Like, can you discuss the firmament and the domes?
Well, the theory of it being flat, if it was flat, then it must have an edge, and I don't believe the part of it where it says you can fall off the edge. I just believe the flatness is vast. And when you were saying about not seeing a boat, when you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean, you know, taking in mind the oceans are huge spaces. If you can't see something in the distance, you won't be able to see it because you can't see that far with our own eyes anyway. So you don't know whether you just can't see it because you can't see it, or whether you can't see it because it's rounded.
But like, discuss the firmament dome theory. Do you the firmament dome theory? Helping her out, right? So these flat earthers, you know, they believe that what happens is that even though the Earth is flat, there still is a dome around it. There still is a glass dome around it that religion has terminalized as the firmament. But also too, that's why if you want to talk about the satellite imaging from today, where they're saying that they're above the Earth and they see the globe of the Earth, but they're actually still seeing is the dome.
Yeah.
And this is what the problem is that they're seeing the idea that if the Earth is flat, surrounded by a dome, how is that possible? Is this proof that there is God, or proof that there is evidence?
And that's another subject. Swerving that.
Well, the last point was.
Why don't you show that picture up there of it?
I'm going to in the video.
Oh, okay.
But the last point is that you were making about the Antarctica and about not going past it, what's past it. So you go about that. Remember what you were thinking about, what's beyond that, right?
Well, one of the theories in Antarctica was that it was, I can't remember what year it was, someone went and said that he saw
This is Admiral Byrd.
Okay, that was him, wasn't it? Yeah. And he basically went in, was it the 1940s?
1946.
Yeah. He went in the 1940s, and when he went to Antarctica, what he found, he said, was aliens and people living. He found the centre of the earth, the inner earth, and he said it was full of vegetation and there were loads of people like a Nordic race living there. And basically that's why we are never allowed to fly across Antarctica, because it's got nothing to do with the earth being round, it's to do with the fact that
Secrets, baby.
secrets being held in Antarctica from the rest of humanity.
So basically, in closing out, what we have here is that we have this worldwide conspiracy of like teaching our kids from infancy that the world is round, so that way they don't think anything else. But also too is the fact that we also talk the theory of the ice age. Who's to say what is truth? So in that aspect is in the theory of the ice age that the polar ice caps are melting. They've been telling us this for years, especially for the last 30 to 40 years that polar ice caps are melting. So in that aspect is this warning, blink, 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 ice caps are melting. What that would say to us is, hey, Antarctica, there's a lot of land mass over there, and if we are overcrowded and if we're desperate for land, why can't we move there?
Yeah.
And it's like, we can't exist there in that extreme coldness that we're supposed to feel as extreme coldness.
Yeah.
But, well, first thing you do is burn it down then, heat it up. But no, if you heat it up, then you reduce the rest of the polar ice caps, and we need that for some reason. For some reason. So Rachel's theory and discovery is that what is beyond Antarctica? It's kind of like the same thing we said last week about the Sahara Desert actually originally being underwater, where the Sphinx is and everything, and vegetation. There's a lot we don't know. Last thing I want to say is show you the commercial, the Tennessee commercial, where they show you this guy going up in an air balloon, turns into a satellite, and he breaks through the firmament. And when he gets into outer space, or the Sargasso of space, he actually breaks into the ocean of space. So the ocean that we have, the big mystery was underneath, the big mystery was above. Some people think that the famous Wu-Tang song is why is the sky blue and why is water wet? Well, you know what I mean? We're just within the dome. I actually believe that. I don't know if you believe that. You can vote on that, on what theory you believe, that the earth flat or is it round. I don't know. I'm of the theory that it's flat. But I want to thank these two for actually doing the actual research for today's topic. And Rachel actually wrote all that down on flip chart. That was amazing. So give them up for a hand. Yeah. Well, what do you think they get out of it? I mean, like the thing about it is, it makes us, I wouldn't say it makes us bigger or smaller, but to keep us in the dark about who we are, where we're from, and what exactly is the world that we live in, is to the benefit of someone else. You know what I mean? And like the more we learn, the more we discover, the more we change.
So they obviously know something we don't know, and they get something out of it. So what do you reckon they get out of it?
Well, they're getting their funding for NASA, they're getting their funding for projects, they're getting their funding for scientific research. You know, I would think that like there's a huge gain out of discoveries. You know, my shock is Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, because I do respect him and I do believe in, you know, I think it's a lot of his theories are great, but then again, is him, like everyone else, is paid. You know, he's paid to, you know, sway the audience in one way or the other. You know, if he wants to convince people that, no man, the earth is round, and, you know, leave it alone and do it in a joking way, we laugh about it. But the main thing about it is that, wait a minute, hold on for a second. You know, because there's a lot of theory here. I mean, and there's that video about them sending up the rockets, you know, and that they are really atomic testing, but they were early attempts to break through the dome. I believe that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. That, like, because it makes no sense, the atomic testing.
of Los Alamos and all of that kind of stuff. You know, we just want to test these nuclear warheads, and they're blowing up in our atmosphere. You know, and potentially destroying us as a people and civilization.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're probably still feeling the effects of that radiation. But what did it blow up on? Did it just blow up because it went up in space? Because then you ask yourself, well, why would you launch a rocket in the atmosphere that we can see that explodes? What did it explode on? You know, and that's why the theory of the dome works for me.
They usually detonate.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I have no clue. They say it's atomic testing, that they were testing their ability to build nuclear warheads. But actually, I think that they were actually testing the factor that can we break through this dome? Because what they were trying to say, what they were relating it to the factor that the atomic testing happened around the same time that they sent up Skylab, right? So,
That makes more sense.
wasn't it Skylab or the first satellite that they sent up? Skylab, you know.
Oh yeah, Skylab.
Yeah, so like I'm thinking that the first pictures that they saw,
It's like, oh shit, we're in a...
what the hell? And I would love to see those pictures, right? Because they sent the pictures to see what we look like from space, and that's when everything changed, you know. And in that aspect,
And you know
that's
what? That was
happened.
like...
That makes really good theory busting for me.
That was like killing two birds with one stone, because they could then tell the population we're testing out nuclear warheads, so we've got the power. So get scared, people. We want to control you, get scared. So that will break the whole of the population into totally believing what the government says and does, and scared of war, basically. And they have all the power to, you know, have war, kind of thing. So it's submissive, so it's making the population submissive as well as
But not only that, but
doing their tests.
But not only that, but think about it this way. It goes back to my whole theory that, like, I don't believe man landed on the moon from last week. Is that, like, why did the government have this group consensus of space travel, right? In the sense where that, if you think, right, we always get these movies where, you know, their fingers are so close to the button, right, that they can launch these warheads, right, at each other, right? And the thing about it is they never would, right? They never would, and they never have. But those warheads are not probably to protect them from each other. Their warheads will protect them from what's out there, from what put us into these domes in the first place. So like the whole thing about it is it's kind of like Independence Day. It's like if you think about it, it's like each country has their own army of warheads ready to strike whoever's ready to come through that
Well,
dome.
didn't Reagan do that? Reagan brought forward the Star Wars policy, where he actually said he believes that there are other forces at way, and that one day we might have to fight a common enemy. Russians, English, all around the world we have to fight a common enemy.
Yeah.
So we got the agreement of the Russians.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's like a backhand deal. It's like, hey, look, we're all in agreement. We all have our army of nuclear warheads ready to strike, right? When it's time, right? So what they're doing is they're waiting for it. When it's time, they're all prepared with these warheads and everything to fight back. They don't know if their warheads will work. They only know that the warheads don't work on their dome, right? So what I was just trying to say is the fact that they will never set these weapons off against each other, but those weapons are there for what's coming.
Okay. What do you think is coming?
Well, whoever put us in the damn dome. You know what I mean? Whoever put us in the
You
dome.
reckon we've been put in a zone? Like beyond expense?
Hey, it's Prometheus all over again. I definitely believe we've been put in this dome. Well, Prometheus alien, I believe more on that one. You know, because like the whole idea here is the fact that like, if we are just one bottle city away from all the other planets who are having their own form of experimentation of their civilizations and societies, and we derive from single-formed amoebas, you know what I mean? It's kind of like we've been put in a bottle. Simple as that. You know what I mean? It's just,
So what do you then believe that these aliens or that are in Antarctica? Who are the aliens? Are they our makers or are they?
Eskimos.
builders, makers.
builders, makers, survivors, leftovers. I mean, like, the thing about it is that, what you're saying about the Antarctica and the southern hemisphere, the dipole between the magnetic north and south is the fact that we are only one experiment that we see, but there's probably a whole other side of the world that we don't see.
Gone to the depths of the bloody ocean, have we?
Well, we definitely haven't gone to the depths of the ocean, but what I meant is that, like,
Down there as well.
no, but what I meant is that, like, when we only see the land masses of the Antarctica and we stop, you're right. I mean, there's actually been no true exploration of the Antarctica. I mean, there are probably some Inuit societies that live there and everything like that, indigenous and stuff like that, but we haven't actually explored it. It's too cold. And it's also like what we have discovered about Mount Everest being the tallest mountain, and only very few people actually went to the top of it. When we actually somewhat see their views of it, we still see firmament, we still see cloud cover. We don't know what's beyond that. So those people who climbed it are so tired and worn out to take pictures, but they don't know actually what's beyond what they see. We don't know what's beyond the horizon of what they see. Not from their cameras or from themselves, because they didn't go and explore it. So my main thing about it is the fact that we just don't know. It's just good theory, though. I'm loving this flat Earth theory. You know what I mean? Because it's like sometimes it's an awakening when you get a new thought in your head, and you think, oh, that's stupid, because we always knew the world was round. Like the baby holding the globe. We always knew that. That's how it is, son. You're conditioned to understand that. But what if it wasn't?
Giant ice cream.
What?
Giant ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. You know what I mean? Feed them what they need to know, right? Feed their mind what is sensible. And that's what we're doing. All right? Yeah.
No,